Last night, the NBA had its dunk contest, which is usually the main headliner for Saturday night. Sometimes the three-point shootout can outshine the dunk contest. It's happened before several times, but last night, the dunk contest was definitely the main billing, as they would say. Before the start of the dunk contest, they had a tribute to Vince Carter, who had won the dunk contest 25 years ago in Oakland. You can say basically the same area as the dunk contest is being held as it was last night, which was in San Francisco, just same vicinity where it was back in the day. But they gave Vince a huge tribute. And I'll say this, Vince does deserve a lot of respect for what he did in 2000. That was one of the greatest dunk contests ever in NBA history. And I would say the greatest dunk contest I've seen in my lifetime, at least. I was born during the 80s, but I can't remember the dunk contest that Jordan and Dominique participated in. And since I got to view it later on growing up during the 90s, but I didn't get to get the real feel of it you would get as a kid seeing it live in real time. But yeah, the 2000 contest was the best dunk contest I've ever seen. I was in high school back then, so I can vividly remember what it was like back then and just the impact it had and just how big it was. But with that being said, I felt that they overdid the tribute to Vince Carter last night. To me, it was overplayed in the sense that they were just overdoing it. Like, for example, they had Kenny talking about for a period of time like what he was doing that night and where he was, and then you had Shaq to talking about how he was in the crowd and just going this rant about how he was documenting history, blah, blah, blah. And then you had Tracy McGrady pointing out where he was that night during the dunk contest, talking about how he participated in it. I felt that was like a bunch of fluff they're trying to fill in for commercial time. Just to me, it was ridiculous just how long they were just overplaying that. It was just annoying, but it got me thinking about Vince Carter at least last night. I haven't thought about Vince in a long time. But so I thought about him, and then I was just focused on the dunk contest. Obviously, I'm a Spurs fan, so I was rooting for Stephon Castle to win. I had to say Stephon Castle had a lot of great dunks, and in any other year, 90% of the time, he would have won the dunk contest, I felt, unless he was going against an elite dunker like Vince Carter, a Dominique, or Michael Jordan, that in any other year, I definitely think he would have won the dunk contest. His dunks were great, and on top of that, he didn't have any props. And he was doing dunks that hadn't been done before. He was very creative. So I gave Castle just huge props for what he did. It's hard to be creative without props, and he was able to do that. But I felt his lack of props probably did hurt him against Mac McClung, because Mac McClung, I'll give him his respect. He is a great dunker, but he's heavily reliant on props. And that's how he's been able to win these contests. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because it's fair game. It's perfectly legal. You can use props in the contest, and Mac is able to use them very effectively. Just if I had to give him a nickname, he's like the master of props. That's what I would call him. Just he's great at that, and he knows how to use it to his advantage. For example, like he was able to jump over a car. He was able to jump over like a ladder and dunk two balls in there. He was able to, I'm trying to think of the other dunk he did. Yeah, he was able to jump over Evan Mobley and just use him as a prop. And it's hard to compete with that because Mac has a few things going for him in this regard. He's very short for a basketball player. I'm reluctant to say NBA player because he's always in the G League. He's always on these brief contracts, but you could say NBA player. But he's very short. He's listed at 6'2", but he doesn't look like he's 6'2" to me. He looks at best 6'1", but I'm guessing he's more like 6 feet and a half. That's what he looks to me. Just he's short by NBA standards. And when you're a short guy and you're a dunker, your dunks just look better. That's just the reality of it. It's more amazing to see a short guy dunk versus a relatively tall guy for NBA standards dunk, like a guy who's like 6'5", 6'6", 6'8". You're just going to look better most of the time, unless you're going against an out-of-this-world dunker. You're going to look amazing. I would say that went into play for him, winning this dunk contest, and he earned it, but I think that plays a huge role. I felt that if Stephon Castle used props, he probably could have won this contest. I think, heck, if he just used Victor Wembanyama in the final round as his first dunk attempt, he would have brought down the house and it would have been over. just I think that would have just taken Mac down when he used Evan Mobley as a prop. Nothing could compete with that, but he didn't want to use props, and I respect him, but just I think that definitely played a huge role in him losing. And I would say Mac has the other thing going for him is that he doesn't look like a dunker. When you look at Mac, he looks like that guy that grew up next door to you in the suburbs, just some regular dude that that normally couldn't even jump over a stack of paper. So again, just when you see someone do something that you don't think that they're capable of doing, it just looks even more amazing. And he's able to win off those things. So all that combined just makes him very hard to beat. Just you have to be out of this world great to beat Mac. And Castle was close. I just think not having the props really took him down. Just if he had just used props, I think it would have given him just enough to overcome him. But then it made me think of, could Vince Carter, the man that they honored last night, beat Mac McClung in a dunk contest? And I'm not talking about today's Vince Carter, like the near 50-something-year-old Vince Carter. I'm talking about like young, prime Vince Carter. Could he have defeated Mac McClung in a dunk contest? And I'm going to say yes, absolutely. Vince, I think, would be able to demolish him. Keep in mind, when Vince won that dunk contest in 2000, all those dunks were not prop dunks. I know some could argue the one where Tracy threw an alley-oop to him was a prop, but I didn't really look at those props since he didn't dunk over Tracy. But just all those dunks were just amazing. Just they were powerful, graceful, and just great finesse at the same time in slow motion. I remember Vince saying something interesting last night when Castle was trying to pull off one of his dunks in the later rounds, and he wasn't able to pull it off at first. He kept on missing it, but eventually he was able to pull it off, and it looked great. And Vince was telling out loud to Castle, when he was giving the commentary, that he just wants Castle to slow down, just slow down a little bit. If he slows down a little bit, he's going to be able to pull off this dunk and it's going to look amazing. And Castle actually then did slow down just a little bit and it was good enough and he was able to pull it off. So Vince has just like a good idea of just even the choreography of just dunks, just how to make them look great, powerful, and just amazing. Like he has it down to a science. So that was interesting to hear that part about it. But I think Vince would have eviscerated Mac McClung even if he didn't use props. And if he used props, oh God, it's over. Like Vince could jump over like, I don't know, 2 or 3 cars, jump over a helicopter or some shit, or just even a giraffe. Yeah, he would have just taken it down. That's just my opinion. But yeah, credit to Mac McClung. He definitely is one of the greatest dunkers in this dunk contest. But I'm not willing to say he's the GOAT dunker in this contest. In my eyes, that's between Vince and Michael. That's just a toss-up. But I think definitely Vince would have destroyed him in a dunk contest. Just want to throw that out there.